Hi, this is Mrs. Shope. Today our objective is to be able to write numbers in scientific notation and order numbers in scientific notation from least to greatest. We're going to start with writing numbers in scientific notation. Number 1 says 3,725,000. When we write this in scientific notation, we're going to place our decimal point so we have a number 1 or higher but less than 10. So if I place my decimal point after the 3, I'll have a 3.725. 3.725 is a number 1 or higher, but less than 10. And then we need times 10 to some power. Well, the exponent tells me how many places I moved my decimal point, not how many zeros are in the problem. But if I have a whole number of my decimal points at the end, how many places did I move to get my decimal point after the 3? Well, I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is going to be to a positive 6 power because 3,725,000 is a large whole number. On number 2, I have a decimal. Whenever you have a decimal that's smaller than one whole, your exponent's going to be negative. But first I have to place my decimal point so I have a number 1 or higher but less than 10. So if I place my decimal point after the 2, I'll get a 2.39, which is 1 or higher but less than 10. And then it's times 10 to some power. Well, the exponent is how many places I moved. I started with my decimal point here and I went 1, 2, 3. But the exponent's going to be a negative 3 because 0.0239 is a number smaller than 1. If you look at number 3, my first step is to place my decimal point so I have a number 1 or higher but less than 10. When I do this, the number can equal 1, but it cannot equal 10. So it has to be 1 or higher but less than 10. If I place my decimal point after the 14, that would give me a number higher than 10. I really need to place my decimal point after the 1 to get 1.414 times 10. Now this is a whole number, so my decimal point's at the end, so I'm going over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this would be times 10 to the 7. Okay, looking at number 4, I need to place my decimal point so I have a number 1 or higher but less than 10. So I'm going to place it after the 8. That will give me an 8.76 times 10. My decimal point's here. I moved 1, 2, 3. But it's not going to be a positive 3. It's going to be a negative 3 because I started with a small decimal less than one whole. You try number 5. Okay, your decimal point should go after the 2 because that will give you a number 1 or higher but less than 10. I would have 2.71 times 10. This is a whole number, so my decimal point's at the end. I'm going over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it should be a positive 5 because it is a large whole number. Okay, try number 6. Okay, you should have placed your decimal point after the 8 to get 8.785 times 10. If I start with my decimal point at the end and I count how many places did I have to move the decimal point to get my decimal point after the 8, that would be 3, 6, 9. See if you have to the power of 9. Okay, try number 7. Okay, see if you placed your decimal point after the 4 to give you 4.955 times 10. Here's my decimal point. So let's see, I moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But did you have a negative 5 because it's a small number less than 1? All right, try number 8. Okay, let's check. Your decimal point should go after the 5 to give you 5.24 because that is a number 1 or higher but less than 10. How many places did I move? Well, I only had to move once, but it's going to be a negative 1 because this is a small number less than 1 whole. All right, our last part of our lesson is order from least to greatest. So I'm looking at these three numbers, and number 1, they're all in scientific notation. What I'm trying to do is pick out the one that is the least. The way you can do that, since they're all in scientific notation, is pick out the exponent that is the smallest. 6 is smaller than 9 and 8, so 9.2 times 10 to the 6 would be the least number. Next would come the 7.9 times 10 to the 8, and the greatest would be the 7.8 times 10 to the 9th because the exponent is the highest. It has an exponent of 9, which is greater than 8, so that's why it is the greatest. So looking at number 2, all of these numbers are in scientific notation. So I need to find the least exponent. So I have a 6, a negative 1, and a negative 2. Out of 6, negative 1, and negative 2, negative 2 is the smallest. So the least number would be 5.2 times 10 to the negative 2. Next smallest would be the negative 1. So the next smallest number would be 4.3 times 10 to the negative 1. The highest would be 5.3 times 10 to the 6 because my exponent is a 6 and 6 is higher than negative 1 and negative 2. All right, number 3, I look at my three numbers. They are all in scientific notation. I've got to pick out my lowest exponent to get my least number. Well, the first number and the last have the same exponent, negative 9. And negative 9 is lower than negative 7. But I got to choose between these two. So since they both have an exponent of negative 9, I look at 3.6 and 3.2. 3.2 is smaller, so that would be my lowest number, 3.2 times 10 to the negative 9. Next would come the 3.6 times 10 to the negative 9 because it also has an exponent of negative 9. The greatest number is 2.4 times 10 to the negative 7 because negative 7 is higher than negative 9. So to review our objective, today we wrote numbers in scientific notation and ordered numbers in scientific notation from least to greatest. Your assignment to go with this lesson is page 446, numbers 3 through 21 all. You're going to go on the Big Ideas website and enter your answers there. Please make sure you click submit when you finish.